Hi, thank you for tuning in. I'm Celeste Chandler, and this is the I Am Vets Community News Podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please press the notification bell and subscribe. If you are listening to us on iHeart, iTunes, or anywhere else, please follow us. And today we have a very special guest. We're going to be discussing suicide prevention. We have Tony Vivaldi. Thank you for coming, Tony.
Thank you for having me, Celeste.
So tell me a little bit about you.
Okay, I'm the founder of Save a Vet Now. It's a nonprofit organization. We're focused on veteran suicide awareness and prevention. We're partnered with Wilmington-based Coastal Horizons.
Okay.
They are the largest mental health services provider in the Cape Fear region. And we provide services to veterans and their spouses with no out-of-pocket expense.
What's the stats on suicide in the military?
Stats are not very good.
Yeah.
We're losing 6,000 souls every year to suicide, and that number hasn't changed in the last 15 or 16 years. In fact, we think it's going to get worse with the COVID pandemic and the Afghanistan withdrawal. The thing I've learned in providing these kinds of services is that we tend to get to these veterans a little too late. Their lives have already descended into chaos. They're already on the road to the proverbial rabbit hole. We have to find a way to intervene much, much earlier in the process. There are those who advocate that we should be teaching or helping them with mental health issues even at basic training.
Right.
That some come predisposed to have mental health issues. If we add trauma to that, especially battlefield trauma, or any of the other issues that affect them, then it becomes a cascading of problems.
How do you identify a person that may be suicidal?
That's the $64,000 question. There are those who hide that very, very, very well. There are organizations available, such as PsychArmor is a good one, psycharmor.com or .org, who will give you 15-minute free lessons on how to do just what you said. But there are symptoms that we see: irritability, substance abuse is another one, isolationism. They try to stay away from everyone else. That doesn't necessarily mean they're suicidal. So it's a tough thing to recognize, and then we need to learn how to deal with it once we do recognize it.
Right.
What do we do with it once we know it's there? And it's time to ask this question seriously and spend time with it. And that's, why do these numbers not change? There are countless organizations out there who are providing veteran services that are quality veteran services, yet the number remains at 6,000 a year for 15 or 16 years. No change in sight. Why is that? I categorize them in three groups. There are that majority of veterans who are resourceful, resilient. They lean on their training and what they've learned in the military and apply that to civilian life, and they're successful. They don't need us. They're doing well. Then there's a second group of veterans who leave the military with baggage.
Right.
Whether it's trauma or relationship issues, financial issues, job security, substance problems, whatever those issues are. But they recognize that they can't resolve their issues by themselves. So they reach out to any of these organizations to get help. And then they, for the most part, find relief. It's the source. This relationship is the source of the success stories we hear from the veteran service organizations. They feel good about what they did. And the veterans, with very few exceptions, get relief. It's
Right.
the perfect marriage. This is exactly what we're trying to do. So then the question comes, if this is happening, why doesn't the number change?
Right.
And that's because, in my opinion, there's a third group of veterans. And these veterans hold everything close to the chest. They don't want anyone to know they have a problem. There's a stigma in our society against mental health. That works on them.
Right.
They have a fear if they come out, they're not going to get the job they want, or they're going to lose the job they already have. Excuse me. They don't want to be seen as weak or damaged goods. So they make the decision to go it alone, and they suffer in silence. These are the people who drive the statistics. These are the 6,000 a year. There are exceptions to this, but this is the group that drives the statistics. We don't focus on this group. We look at a number that doesn't change, and we either add more veteran service organizations, or we increase the services they provide, or we improve the services they provide, but it's still the same thing.
Right.
My philosophy is, if you travel the road already paved, you can only come to the same destination.
That's correct. It's so true. That's so true. You have a event coming up. You want to tell us about your event?
So, keeping this whole idea in mind, that we have this third group of veterans who are not coming out, I leaned on what I've learned over the last 4 years in what they are willing to talk about. What is the immediate problem that we could help them with? They're not willing to come out with their mental health issues.
Right.
But two things they'll talk to you about readily is, one, the loss of their tribe when they left military service. Brothers and sisters they no longer have. They don't have the camaraderie. They don't have that person who has their back.
Right.
If there are issues. And the second thing they talk readily about is that they are ill prepared for the transition from from military to civilian life. What I've learned over these past few years is that veterans will open up to other veterans much more readily than they will to civilians. So if we could replace this group, this tribe, give them a new tribe,
Right.
where they're with brothers and sisters who've been there, done that, understand what they're talking about. Now the healing starts. Because now if I tell you I've been down that rabbit hole
Yes.
and I know the way out, you're going to listen to me. You're going to come to a better place for having been with me in this group. And then what we're going to try and do is surround this tribe with those local veteran service organizations who can provide help.
Okay.
So this is the project, and we're going to kick this project off on the 29th of April
Okay.
with those interested parties, and hopefully including yourself,
Okay.
to see what our next steps are and how we can pull this together and make this work for our local veterans.
It sounds good. Tell us where it is.
It's going to be at the VFW post in Holly Ridge on the 29th of April at 10 a.m.
Awesome. So anyone who wants to help,
If you have an interest in doing that kind of thing, show up and meet some of the other folks who are also interested.
sounds awesome. You want to leave us with anything else?
I would like to make one.
Make as many as you want.
So we talk about veterans today
Yes, sir.
and how difficult this veteran suicide process. We cannot forget their families
Right.
that who get traumatized by this as well, and we can't forget that there's a civilian problem. It's throughout our society. So if you're not a veteran or not veteran associated, don't come from a veteran family, it doesn't mean that you're excluded from our thoughts. This is a societal problem that we have to bring our arms around.
Personally, I'm glad that we're getting together to do something like this. It's very worthy causes. A lot of people are dying and it's needless.
I'm appreciative of just being able to get the information out. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And with that, I want to say goodbye from the International Association of Minority Vets Community News Podcast, and we're out.